Hey everybody, today I'm sharing 12 travel tips you must know for a safe and amazing vacation in Maui, Hawaii. I recently returned from 8 glorious days in Maui, Hawaii. It was my first time ever going to Hawaii. It was a long trip to get there. It was 18 hours door to door. I flew Montreal to LA. We had a layover there, and then LA to Maui, and then coming home, we went through San Francisco. Maui lived up to everything that I ever imagined and more, and despite the very long day of travel, I plan to return next year, and I just can't wait. So I came up with 12 travel tips that might be helpful to you if you're going to Maui for the first time, or even if you've been many times, you may not be aware of some of these things. The very first thing, and I think it's worth repeating, is sunscreen. It is so important to wear sunscreen everywhere on your body in Maui or anywhere in Hawaii, because I got a 2nd-degree sunburn and it almost ruined my vacation. The very first day we were there, it was overcast. I did put sunscreen on, but I wasn't diligent about reapplying it as often as I should have. I ended up with a terrible 2nd-degree burn on my legs and my feet. My right foot, I had 18 blisters. 2 were the size of golf balls, and on my other foot I had 8. My feet were irritated and swollen to the size of tree trunks. So please learn from my stupidity of not reapplying my sunscreen. Wear some protective clothing, wear tons of sunscreen when you are there. You're closer to the equator, and even if it is overcast, you can still get the UV rays and end up with a burn. So if you want to see what my sunburn looked like, Google 2nd-degree sunburns, and mine were like 100 times worse. It is the most painful experience I have ever had in my life, and I want to save you from that. Tip number 2, when you're going to Maui or anywhere in Hawaii or anywhere in the ocean really, it's really important if you plan on snorkeling or swimming in the ocean to wear mineral reef safe sunscreen. Better yet, wear UV protective clothing. It's going to give you the protection you need without sunscreen, and it's going to protect the coral, the fish, and the ocean. The one thing that I didn't like about the mineral sunscreen, and they had free dispensers everywhere at the resort, is that it does leave a white cast, but at least you're covered. So it's really important when you're swimming in the ocean to check your sunscreen and make sure that it is reef safe. And if you forget it, you can always buy some there. But there are certain ingredients, just search it on Google, that you must avoid if you're swimming in the ocean to help keep the coral reef safe. My next tip is about their beaches. They are beautiful. We stayed at the Westin and Kaanapali Beach. I don't think that's how you say it. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful beach. Never got to swim in it once because the ocean is so unpredictable. I have swam in the Atlantic Ocean. I've swam in the Caribbean, lots of different islands. So I didn't know any different. I live in Ontario. I don't have an ocean right by me. So I didn't think anything. Well, let me tell you, the Pacific Ocean is so strong, and it has such a strong current. One day we were actually just kind of in this little wading pool they had blasted out of the rock for kids to sit in. So because my legs were so swollen, I was kind of having a hard time getting around, so I thought it might be a good idea just to soak my feet in the water. So we're sitting there, my daughter and I, and the ocean had been like not too rough. Well, out of nowhere, this huge wave just came over, sent us flying into the rocks. And then immediately I could feel almost like a vacuum sucking me out to the ocean. And I was trying to grab my daughter's hand because I was scared I was going to get sucked out. And because my legs were so swollen, I was kind of limited in my mobility. Well, I was yelling at her, grab my hand. Well, then another huge wave just, came out of nowhere, went over me. I ended up swallowing a lot of water, got thrown into the rocks again, got all cut up, but thankfully she was out and she was able to grab me and help pull me to safety. But I have to tell you, don't turn your back on the ocean. This was probably one of the most terrifying experiences in my life, and I never knew that I would ever get into a situation like that because I'm a fairly good swimmer, and I guess because I don't live close to an ocean, not familiar with riptides and things like that. So really educate yourself. And a lot of the beaches, they do not have lifeguards that swim at your own risk. Check the surf report for beach safety daily, and it will list the beaches, and it will tell you, if they're safe, how big the waves are, etc. I wish I had known about that before we went, but I certainly know now. And now anytime when I go swimming in the ocean, I will definitely be looking out for those things, because the ocean in Maui was so different than anything I'd ever experienced in the Caribbean. And just another few items to remember about the ocean: you want to be mindful of jellyfish. We saw that they did have some signs up for some of the beaches we were walking past that there were jellyfish present. And also, don't swim at dawn, dusk, or in murky water, because there are sharks, and you kind of don't want to see them. And always swim or snorkel with a buddy. The ocean current is so strong, so just exercise some caution. The next tip for Maui is don't touch the sea turtles. I know it's so exciting to see a sea turtle, and the ones at Hawaii are like 2-3 times the size of any sea turtle I've ever seen in the Caribbean. They are beautiful. You're excited, you want to get close to them. Don't. There's a $10,000 fine. They are protected, and they actually have what they call the turtle police on some of the beaches where the turtles are known to go and rest and get warm, and they're just dressed like normal tourists, and if somebody gets close to the turtles, they will hand you a fine for $10,000. And you have to stay so many feet away. I'm not going to tell you how many, because go check it out for yourself when you get there. I don't want to give you misinformation, but definitely stay away from the turtles. Enjoy them from a distance. That also goes for if you are snorkeling with them. Don't chase them, don't grab them, don't ride on them. Just enjoy them and leave them be. Now, something that my daughter and I did, we actually took a ferry from Maui to the island of Lanai, and it's a sister island to Maui. I think there's 3 islands that make up Maui, and Lanai, the reason why we wanted to go there is because a couple of years ago, I found out that they have this huge cat sanctuary, and I follow the cats on Instagram, so I said, if I ever get to Maui, I just want to go check out this island and see the cats. There's 700 cats that live in this sanctuary, and if you love cats, it's cat heaven. So it was really nice because we took this ferry. It leaves from, is it LANAI, where you get all the tours, and I think it was 45 minutes on a really nice catamaran. Sometimes they see whales. I saw dolphins. That was so nice. But it's just nice to see Maui from the ocean, and also Lanai, because Lanai is like a desert, and it's really rugged, and it's beautiful. And it's actually at this beach where I almost ended up drowning. So that is something. You can also just take the ferry and go to the beach there, but I don't think there was a lifeguard. I can't remember. But that's where the Four Seasons Hotel is. You can rent a Jeep. You can drive around the island. It's just so different from Maui. And even Maui itself, if you get to tour the whole island, there's like desert, there's rainforests. It's so beautiful. It's really a beautiful, special place. The next tip that I have for you is if you do not want to get a rental car, you can get a city bus pass for $4 for the day. We found this out on our last day. We didn't know what we wanted to do. I certainly didn't want to be in the sun anymore. So they have a marine ocean center. So we actually found that you could buy a bus pass for $4. Now it is a 40-minute ride, I think, but it's a real easy bus. You just get it at Whalers Village, where the shopping center is, which is right next to the Westin, and then you transfer in Lahaina, and then it takes you right to the stop where the Ocean Center is. And the Ocean Center, really, if you're interested, in marine biology, I really recommend it because you learn so much about the ocean, the fish, the coral. It's really interesting. And then they have this really cool glass tunnel that you walk through, and they have a tiger shark. But the neat thing is the fish only live in the aquarium, we'll call it, for 1 year, and then they release them, so they're not like stuck in an aquarium for their life. And it was really amazing to see the tiger shark, because we did see 5 other sharks. We took the Atlantis submarine. That was really cool, and we saw 5 nurse sharks. It was the first time I'd ever seen a shark like in the ocean, like in their own habitat, so that was really cool. So the city bus, there's different runs, if you want to go different places, highly recommend it, because for $4 $4, it's a real steal. The next tip that I have for you, you really might want to question, do you need a rental car? First of all, rental cars are really expensive, but what you may not know is if you're paying, $500 a night for a hotel, they're going to charge you another $50 to park your car. So for us, it wasn't worth it. We decided we would just rent a car one day, and that is exactly what we did. I think it cost us like $100 to $150 with the gas, the car rental, the insurance, everything. It is so expensive to park your car. So we kind of, wondered, do we really want to spend another $50 US to park a car that we're not going to use? So for us, that worked out well. And if we return to Maui, we will do the same thing. We will just rent a car as we need it. It worked out perfect. I don't see the sense of spending another $50 to park a car. And then don't forget, you got your $45 resort fee on top of, your nightly fee for the hotel. Hawaii is expensive, especially Maui, because we're researching for Oahu and the big island of Hawaii for next year. And Maui is really expensive, but it was so worth it. And I'm so glad that we went. The next tip that I have for you is you can dress up if you want to. I made the mistake of bringing a lot of dressy clothes because I've been on cruises and I'm used to dressing up for dinner and such, but it's so laid back. Actually, I lived mostly in my bathing suits and cover-ups during the day, and a lot of times in the evening, there was one restaurant at the hotel where you could just, eat if you just want burgers. Of course, if you want to go to a fancier place, you should dress up. But what I'm trying to say is it's just so chill. Everybody was just laid back in how they dressed. Yeah, just go relax, enjoy yourself. You don't need a whole lot of clothes. If you plan on doing a lot of water sports, your bathing suit, some cover-ups, some sandals, that's all you really need. The next tip that I have for you is do not overpack. Go check out my capsule wardrobe and then did my capsule wardrobe fit into my carry-on suitcase videos. We did carry-on only. We try and do that whenever we travel for a couple of reasons, because we move around a lot, especially when we're going to Europe. So I got to carry my own suitcase. And also, you don't have baggage fees and you don't have to worry about your suitcase getting lost. So what I found out on this trip to Maui is that I really overpacked, and probably I could do with maybe a third of the clothes that I took. So go check out that video. You'll see what I'm talking about next time I go. Really going to take maybe 3 bathing suits, 3 cover-ups, 1 pair of shorts, a couple of tops, 1 or 2 dresses, and that is it. That is all I needed. The next tip that I have for you is do not rely on the weather app on your phone to tell you what the weather is. I know lots of times, say you're going to Maui, you'll type in what's the weather in Maui, and it could say rain every day. But the thing is, Maui is a big island, so be a little more specific with your weather search. Like if you want to know what is the weather going to be like in Kaanapali or LANAI, type in the part of Maui that you are interested in for that day to get more specific weather. Otherwise, it's just going to be too general. Maui has several different climates. They have a rainforest, a desert, and mountains. I didn't know that. I really didn't know what to expect, and it's unlike any place I've ever been to in the world. It's just undescribable, and it's really, really beautiful. The next tip that I have for you is to pre-book your excursions. My daughter harped on me, we need to pre-book our excursions, and I'm kind of more like, we'll just book it when we get there. She was right. A lot of times the excursions sell out, and we only booked our trip a month before we planned on going, and I'm really glad that we did book our excursions. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been able to go. We pre-booked the Road to Hana tour. We decided not to drive it ourselves, and I really think that it's good to do that tour with a driver. First of all, the road is so congested, and there's nowhere where you can pull off. If the traffic gets backed up, you can't stop at every place to take a photo. The nice thing about being on a tour is that you don't have the hassle of driving, but also the guide can tell you about the place. One of the places we stopped was a Black Rock Beach. The place was packed. That's where we had our lunch. We spent an hour and a half there. Just when we were leaving, the line was like a mile long. That's not how I want to spend my vacation, is sitting in traffic. So for some of the more popular things, you may want to pre-book. And I would also urge you, if you're not getting a car for the full week, week. Maybe pre-book your car once you get there and you figure out what day you're going to need it. Because we thought we could just show up and get a car. Couldn't. We went on Monday. We were going to get the car to drive to the Haliaki crater. We could only get a car for Friday. So that's what we did on the Friday. So if you know that you want to rent a car, when you get there, or rent it before you go. Because where we were staying on Kaanapali, the only rental car company was at the Hyatt, and we were staying at the Westin. So it was about a 10-15 minute walk to go get the car. The next tip that I have for you is do not overschedule yourself. You're in Maui. Sit back, relax, watch the waves, watch the surfers. It was so beautiful on our beach because we could look out and see Molokai, we could see Lanai, we could see the other part of Maui where it kind of curved. Very, very beautiful. Molokai is an island. I think it gets 33 feet of rain a year. I'm pretty sure I read that somewhere. So it's always raining. I think one day out of 8, we could actually see all of Molokai. Otherwise, most of the time, it's hidden by clouds. You wouldn't even know it's there some days. So really, soak in this beautiful island. Don't overschedule yourself where you're constantly running here and there. Just chill, relax, and enjoy yourself. I do have a playlist where you can see my capsule wardrobe for Maui and everything that I packed in my suitcase. So I will link that here and I'll meet you over at those videos. Thanks for watching. Bye.